Alrighty, welcome in to the live desk. I'm Janae Hancock. This is News You Can Use, our weekly segment here where we talk to the Better Business Bureau about things that are going on and what you need to be aware of. So, of course, we are joined by Josh Planos. Josh, how's it going?
It's going great, Janae. News you can use on a Tuesday. This feels strange,
I
but it is good to
know
be
because
chatting with you.
yeah, we typically meet on Mondays, but with the eclipse and everything else going on yesterday, we decided that today is probably going to be the best day to talk. And we're bringing you a huge issue. Virtual vehicle vendor scams declined in 2022, but they actually went back up in 2023 or went up in 2023. So, Josh, can you just tell us a little bit more about that research that you guys are doing and the investigation?
Sure. So, throughout the pandemic, a lot of folks got a crash course on doing things online, whether it be mobile banking, buying groceries, or even purchasing vehicles. And that trend really has continued in the years since the pandemic has lifted. We see, your Carvanas, you drive by places all the time that advertise for companies that can bring, a vehicle right to your front door, take away your old vehicle, and you can do it without needing to go to a lot or deal with haggle pricing or essentially you're paying for the convenience. However, not all of these opportunities are legitimate, and that's really what the study was meant to address. That you know there are a lot of vehicles that are available online that look like fantastic opportunities. But you want to make sure that you're working with a trusted, reputable company and not someone who's just using a low price to dangle in front of you such that you pay for something that doesn't actually exist. We saw this a lot in the classic car space. So folks who are looking for high-end vehicles that maybe you can't find on your ordinary lot that's available down the street. And most cases, this community is really used to going to areas of the internet that they otherwise wouldn't explore. However, there are some red flags to look out for that will leave you not needing to, hold the bag at the end of the experience and also have that vehicle that you actually, are looking to secure.
And I think you bring up a good point. Just the convenience of it all. I know a lot of people personally that have used like sites like Carvana, and it's unfortunate to know that scams are happening, especially within the last years. Last year, a lot of scams are happening on sites like that. So, what is the median loss? How much have people lost so far from these scams?
Yeah, so it depends on, we have a breakdown for both car sales and escrow. So in a lot of the reports that we fielded, fake companies are going the additional step of telling you that the money is going to go into an escrow account and it'll only be paid out upon completion of the transaction or the vehicle being shipped to you. In those cases, the median loss is $12,600. That's a huge amount of money. But we also see folks who are being charged for vehicle history reports. So this is folks who don't go through the process of purchasing the vehicle, but are merely looking to secure the history of a vehicle that they want to buy. And those are $45 a piece. So again, there's a huge range baked into those numbers, but this is a considerable sum of money. We saw a record high number of reports with this scam type in 2023, and it's something that really doesn't show any sign of slowing down. It's very difficult to police when you're doing these types of transactions offline or in an area of the internet that really isn't effectively policed. And sadly, a lot of consumers are learning that the hard way.
And I do want to bring attention to a comment that we have here on our Facebook live stream. Someone saying that this kind of happens all of the time. This isn't their first time hearing about things like this, but have we ever seen it at this rate? You mentioned the fact that $12,600. I mean, just hearing that, I'm at a loss for words.
Yeah, I would say that we only know what is reported. And that's something that, Janae, I think we talk about every single week, the importance, how critical it is for you to bring that experience forward so folks can know that it is happening. Every single time that we present a hard figure, there is an asterisk next to it because the reality is that the vast majority of fraud in this country goes unreported. And so if we're already dealing with record high numbers, you can imagine how exponentially greater the actual impact is for those who are going quiet and are trying to bury this experience and move on without protecting their community. We have never seen the amount of activity in the virtual vehicle space that we have in the past 12 months. And that's something that everyone should be aware of, because the reality is folks are still buying vehicles in ways that they have historically, and even more so. So you want to make sure that you're paying for a real vehicle, not the thought of one.
Yeah, and so this interview is very timely. So, who exactly is being targeted? Are you all kind of seeing a comparison here? Just with, is it older individuals, or is it people just kind of starting off and buying their vehicles at the age of 18 or however old?
So this does cross all demographics, but the vast majority of the reports that we field involve those over the age of 45, specifically with regard to virtual vehicles. Because, as we mentioned, the classic car space is not really an environment or a community that's largely populated by those between, say, 18 and 24. We are seeing a lot of activity with those who might have discretionary income, or the availability or willingness to engage in pursuing a classic car. So you want to make sure that, again, you're making note of that, but also understanding that even at that 18 to 24 demo, if you're looking for a lower price point, there are still a lot of enticing offers out there, some of which are real and some of which aren't.
And I want to touch on this in the information that you sent our news station here at KCTV 5, is that these scammers, they're really starting to change their tactics. I know you all saw a lot of people scamming others in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, but now, or just in the last year, they have been using stolen photos, contact information, and even your vehicle identification numbers. Is that correct?
Yeah, these are very sophisticated operations. Again, we're talking about fake escrow websites, fake advertisements that are targeting folks on social media, or people are placing or paying to place advertisements on legitimate websites that take you offline. Again, we have this assumption that when we see something on our social media timeline, that in some way that's been policed. The reality is it's really the Wild West with advertising. Much as we like to, think we're combating the activity effectively, there is always going to be someone who is cutting a check to appear on a site, and that site is taking you to a place you don't want to go. And we need to, I think, be a little bit more cautious with regard to clicking on those ads. Of course, scammers are really good at presenting something that seems like a fantastic opportunity. These too good to be true offers that we talk about seemingly every week. But with regard to this scam, a lot of times the way the charges compound is by the transportation component of the vehicle. So the seller either won't let you see the vehicle, or they'll insist on delivering the vehicle to you, at which point things come up and you need to pay additional sums of money, at which point you're already in a certain amount of money and you're unwilling to back out. So these are really sophisticated operations that touch on everything from vehicle VIN numbers to fake advertising to fictitious escrow websites. And it's something that, again, is only going to get more sophisticated over time. So having a general understanding of some of those foundational scam prevention, best practices is going to be essential in 2024.
And just out of curiosity, Josh, just a few more questions for you. But how often are buyers able to get their money back, especially after they've been scammed with so much money? They're losing so much money.
Well, it depends completely on the mode of payment. We talk about this pretty regularly, Janae. When you use a credit card, you at least have some built-in fraud protection to dispute those charges as service is not rendered, right? When you are dealing with wire transfers, when you're dealing with cryptocurrency, with prepaid debit cards, with gift cards, in a lot of cases, just because this is a non-traditional transaction, if you're not on, your standard car dealership, folks are being being told that they need to pay for these vehicles with non-traditional means. In those cases, seldom, if ever, do you ever get connected with that money again. You are essentially reliant upon an investigation taking place and that money being withdrawn on behalf of that account once someone has been arrested. So it's very, very difficult to ever see that money again, which is why we talk so regularly about making sure that the transaction is worth the risk, right? Is this something that I feel I'm ready to part ways with? And because you run the risk anytime you swipe a credit card or send payment anywhere for anything. But at least with credit cards, you have some built-in layers of protection that you otherwise don't.
So it is incredibly important that people are being smart about their decisions, and especially if they are going to be submitting some personal information. Josh, before I let you go, is there anything else you would like to add, maybe as far as tips for our viewers?
A really good place to start is by dealing with a business you can trust. We like to think that that's why bbb.org exists. You can see and research trusted, reliable, accredited car dealerships who are very accustomed to handling these types of transactions and not be dealing with someone who may be selling their first vehicle or may not have the infrastructure necessary to get the vehicle to you, or may be selling you a shell of a vehicle, or may be selling you a vehicle that doesn't actually exist, right? You want to make sure that, again, the transaction is worth your time and consideration. So deal with those who have been there before.
All great information and very timely. Like I said, Josh, I want to thank you so much for joining me here at the live desk for our weekly segment, News You Can Use, just on a Tuesday this time. I'll talk to you next week, next Monday at around 10:30. So thanks again.
Thank you.